you like get all of your carol fix in one song. That was awesome, and I can imagine really hard. Ah. You can feel how the energy builds during this month of Advent, yes? Where we started with faith, and as the month moves forward, the energy just continues to sort of grow. And what we've been anchoring here during this season of Advent is bringing consciousness to that energy, because I know it's possible to take that energy that's growing and have it throw me off my center, rather than that energy that's growing being something that helps me stay even more centered. And so that's really what our practice has been. That we start with faith. What do we really believe? We move into peace, knowing that we can quiet our fears. And then that allows us to recognize oneness, allows us to recognize there truly is no separation. And that brings us right to where we are today with radiant blessings. And in the same way that we have been talking about faith and peace and love as being a capacity that we have, as an ability that we have, joy is an ability. It's not random. It's not something that just appears. We have an expression we say, joy independent of circumstance. It's not about whether things are going your way or not. We have the capacity for joy in every moment. And so every moment we're being invited to choose it, to become it. And so it's not, I was talking about the lights and, so yeah, there are things out there, quote unquote, that can support our understanding of joy. But really, the true joy, it doesn't really matter what is happening. It is something that is within us all. And so there's this growth that we have been in the process of. And can you see how they feed on each other? We first have to really sit with, what do I actually believe? Because if I believe that I'm not worthy, or if I believe that I'm not enough, or if I believe that the world is not a place that is trustworthy, or that the people in my life are not people I can trust, then can you feel how it's hard to then know peace? And that makes oneness kind of really far away. And then our joy is even further away from us. So what do we believe? We believe in the inherent goodness of all that there is, and that we allow that truth to quiet the fears so that we can actually recognize the divine as ourselves. And then as we step into love, we recognize it as others. And in that, we can realize oneness. And I talked last week about our power to harmonize and unify and to be of service. And I'm sure if you have thought back over this past week, that there were times when you were so the point of harmony. And I'm equally sure there were parts where you were like, I am the one who is creating all the chaos in this right now. It's a choice. Mother Teresa says, a joyful heart is the inevitable result of a heart burning with love. That just doesn't need any comment, right? I mean, this is a woman who dedicated her life to being in service to others. And it was hard. I don't know if you know her story, but she had this epiphany experience and then did not ever have it again for the rest of her life. And it was hard. But she understood that if she showed up in service, that the joy that was hers was available to her, even if the idea of what she was hoping to re-experience didn't actually happen. So in Psalm 118, it says, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." And in Unity, we understand that when we say that this is the day that the Lord has made, we know that we're an active participant in the day that has been made, that we are part of how that day is being made. We're not passive in the creative process. We're an active participant. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Now, how many people in here have experienced something in their day that the furthest thing that they want to actually do is rejoice and be glad in it? And so this is the practice, right? This is the practice. Right there is the practice. And I love this because for me, it actually sort of sums up what I think our teaching is really about. That I'm part of this creative process. I'm not in complete control. Anybody in here think you are in complete control? You got to let that go, because you are not in complete control, right? We are all part of a greater consciousness. We are impacted by how everyone on this planet thinks and feels and believes. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that I have participated in, and it really sucks. And yet, I get to say, how can I actually still be in joy? How can I actually still be grateful? How can I actually still stand in my awareness that this day feels pretty sucky, but I can show up in a different way so that maybe tomorrow won't be, and not even tomorrow, maybe the next moment won't be. If we want more joy, we have to use joy. It's a muscle. If we're not actually practicing it, if we're not using our joy, then we don't get more of it. Does that make sense to everyone? So this quote from Christine Clement, so the New York Times does a thing every year where they ask readers to write in and share their deepest wisdom from the past year. And they print a whole bunch of them. And this one, the minute I saw it last year, I copy pasted it into my notes. Because I think this is really what we're talking about when we're talking about joy, independent of circumstance. What we mean is be a fountain, not a drain. We have a choice. We can be a fountain or we can be a drain. We can just suck all the life out of any situation. We can catastrophize. We can worry. We can be anxious. We can have our whole litany of how we try to control the world around us unsuccessfully. And we are being invited to be a fountain that is rooted in our faith, that is rooted in our capacity to know peace, that is rooted in oneness and love and harmony and unity, in our capacity to serve. Can you feel how each week we are being invited to start within, but then step without? I was reading something by Myrtle Fillmore, and she talked about how you can spend too much time in the silence. Myrtle Fillmore, the silence queen. You can spend too much time in the silence. It gets too comfortable there in the silence. Get up off your cushion. Get into the world, because that's what we're here to be and do. And that is what our joy is. Our joy is what we're being invited to show up in the world as. I love this quote too, because I think for a lot of us, our expectations are what cause our pain and sorrow and make us unhappy. And we treat change as being something that's always going to bring us the negative. That change somehow our focus is on what's going to go wrong with change. The joy of life comes from our encounters with new experiences. There is no greater joy than to have an endlessly changing horizon. Everybody breathe into that. An endlessly changing horizon. For each day to have a new and different sun. What if we lived like that? Where truly we were embracing every moment of change. Eric Butterworth says, a true Christmas involves a giving way to our greater potential. It's a kind of birth. I love how he says it's a kind of. He wrote this in like the 50s, right? It's a kind of birth of the Christ in the manger of consciousness. I love that. How many people's manger is filled with the muck from the horses and the, right? The straw, the debris, the manger of our consciousness, a commitment to the continued unfoldment of the greater possibilities of our nature. This is really what Christmas is all about. We're being invited into the greater possibilities of our nature. So can you give way to your greater potential? Can you just allow something else to emerge that you have never experienced before? And rather than meeting it with trepidation and fear, what if we met it with joy? What if we brought our joy online and we use it in every moment? And I'm not saying this is easy work. This is the work of like serious seeking practitioners, right? To just continually keep calling ourselves forward. Rumi says, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. This is about our core value of authenticity. Really listening and breathing and doing the things that make us so uncomfortable. Carolyn, can you pass me my iPad? So Howard Thurman, I know I quote him a lot, and there's a reason, because he's great. And he inspires me all the time. His writing is really amazing. And this particular piece that he has written called I Will Sing a New Song is a touchstone for me. I touch on it every year at this time. The old song of my spirit has wearied itself out. It was long ago been learned by my heart. It repeats itself over and over, bringing no added joy to my days or lift to my spirit. I will sing a new song. I must learn the new song for the new needs. I must fashion new words, born of all the new growth of my life, of my mind, of my spirit. I must prepare for new melodies that have never been mine before, that all that is within me may lift my voice unto God. Therefore, I shall rejoice with each new day and delight my spirit in each fresh unfolding. I will sing this day a new song. Are you willing, interested, allowing, accepting? You just have to be willing, honestly, to sing a new song. Because what we're all being invited into is to choose joy, use joy, and live joy. What would your life be if you actually chose joy? What would be possible? What greater potential could be unleashed in your personal life? But I'm going to say, more importantly, in the world. This world is crying out for greater potential. This world is crying out for an up-leveling in consciousness. And we are it. Isn't that awesome? I mean, that's an amazing thing to know that we are that powerful, that we have the capacity to truly make this a world that works for everyone. We have to choose joy, use joy, and live joy. So let's take this into a time of meditation. Let's breathe into this space. As Eric Butterworth said, this place of greater potential. Just allowing yourself to quiet. As we move through the powers, the abilities of Advent, we just take a moment and say, what do I want to believe in this moment? The goodness, possibility, grace. And as we allow that belief to be with us, I invite you to just let your fears and your doubts and your worries, whatever they are, we don't diminish them. But in this moment, we're going to allow ourselves to unhook from them. And as we allow the peace that passes all understanding to make itself known, I invite you to feel yourself expand beyond your sense of where you begin and end. Touching the love, the oneness, allowing yourself to feel and know the harmony, the unity. And as we allow the small self to dissolve away, just welcoming that infinite joy that is right here and right now, arising from within, and just allowing yourself to say, oh, this is me. I am joy. I am this power to allow my energy, my zeal, my enthusiasm, my creativity, my passion, my love, my deepest caring to burble outward. I am a fountain of joy. And as we rest here for a few moments in the silence, I invite you to just notice, where is the resistance? Where am I not allowing my greater potential to show up? And allowing the joy to just continue to be. So let's just rest here as the joy that we are for a few minutes in the silence. How good it is to allow ourselves to explore that greater potential, to allow ourselves to sing a new song, to let go of what is weary, and repetitive and more of the same, and to grow in our words, our understanding, to sing new harmonies, to allow our song to intertwine with all the other songs that are in this room, that are in and around and this entire planet. And just feeling how that joy is ours to use, to choose and to use and to live as. With gratitude for this and so much more, I do give thanks, blessing this culminating experience of Advent and blessing the birthing of a new understanding of the Christ consciousness that we all are this Christmas. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. And our affirmation for today, on this day of Advent: I allow great joy to be birthed in my mind and body. Will you please know this with me? On this day of Advent, I allow great joy to be birthed in my mind and body. And so it is. Amen. The choir will come on up.